So a job we've been meaning to do for a little while. Then you get this loft moving. Today we're putting this window in, hopefully, which means I've just started putting some timbers in. Need obviously a timber each side, a top and a bottom like we did with these windows here. The only difference, obviously this is outside on the other side of this wall, so you need to be weatherproofing it. So on the outside of this one, if that was on the outside of the wall, like outside, if rain hit the top, it would come in and yeah, be inside. So we've got to put flashings on it outside and make it waterproof. No big deal, it's quite easy to do, but it's just another little thing in addition to what we did over there. So yeah, first of all, I'll just quickly frame this out, and yeah, we'll cut the iron out when you're putting windows in. So I've set that at a height that will correspond to this one, so you keep all your window heads the same, the top of the window if possible. I could just, in this case, I've run out 2100 high, which is quite a standard height to sit your windows at. But yeah, that was just something to think about before I did anything. Let's shoot some timber in, cut some iron out hopefully. I'm just putting these little blocks in. Obviously we're going from steel, like C-section, like a normal shed, to timber, so I've just pre-drilled up the guts, slide these little blocks in. You got to be careful with smaller blocks because they will generally just split out. Not too bad into the end grain, but and then a couple of tacks. Make sure everything's nice and flush. Now, when we go to, I'm going to put top hat on this again for our Gyprock to fix to. So that's just like a metal channel basically that will just tack. It's shaped like kind of like a top hat, I guess, like that. But they'll act as studs. So this won't actually be for the Gyprock. It's just I'm going to lose about 25 mil for the top hat, but it's just a heap easier just to run them up rather than blocking in between like I have with all this. It's just slow basically, so literally just when we get to the top hat section, it's just tech screws onto that, or timber or metal, whatever. So this all needs to still be flat, so you can just slap the top hats on. Alright, what I've done there was measure, all my timbers are in plumb and level, so I'm measuring off my timbers, what I need for the window to stick through. The lining of the window is obviously wider than the front of the window that sticks out, so I need to measure the part that sticks out, and I've drilled 4 holes. That's basically the corners, so then I'll go outside and cut with the grinder. I have said when I was doing this cladding out here that it's not ideal to cut with a grinder, but I'll just thoroughly clean all the metal filings off it. Cold saw blade is shagged, so it's going to be a grinder job. Rightio. Back in business. Beautiful day outside. So where would you want to be than in your shed? I think last we had the window was going in pretty well temporarily. Yeah, for the meantime. These are the flashings I'd order. So there's obviously a top flashing, apron flashing, and then the 3 side flashings. So, well, 2 sides and a bottom that are all the same. We'll leave them there for now. We are going to replace or change out a bit of strapping, a bit of the bracing for the shed. I'll show you up here. So we're changing out the bracing that they supplied with the shed when I bought it, which is fence rail basically. It's like 19 by or 20 by 36 or something like that, 38 RHS. The reason being is I want to run my ceiling joists or my top hat purlin straight onto the purlins of the shed, so onto the underside of that. So I'll put one in here. That sits flat on the bottom of that purlin, so I'll be able to run my top hat straight over that. Then they have little tensioning devices. So we've got to slap one more from this corner up to there, and then we'll swap obviously both of them out too. And then we can run some purlins, or some top hat for ceiling joists. So I'll show you how this tensioning system works. Pretty straightforward. Get a bolt, put it through that big hole, and it's got like a rib nut in that little bracket there. Screw that in, and then as you do that up, pulls any slack into there. So you picture that staying straight. Nice little system, easy, quick, and effective. That's what we like. Nice. So we've got a length for our joists. They are 5.2 from the low side to the ridge up the top. Now I'm just marking out our spacings. For ceiling joists, it's every 600. No, well, we can't exceed any further than 600 mil, so you can go less if it's so easy. If it's how it works, like at the end it might be a smaller gap, so yeah. 600, that stays on there, that would be handy. Come on now. Now, trick 2, if you're marking out a run of things, hook onto the end and keep your running measurement. If you happen to stuff up a measurement and put it at 650, and then you go to the next one and you go 600, even though the second 600 is correct, all of them will be out by 50 mil. If you stuff one up and you're doing a running measurement, you're only going to stuff that one up. So if you went 600, 1200, 1250, and then you went 1800, you've only stuffed the one up, if that makes sense, rather than if you measure from your line each time, every one you stuff up, or every one after you stuff up will be stuffed up. Probably confused the hell out of you just then, but yeah, just keep it a running measurement. That's the way to win. This task is a hell of a lot easier with 2 people, but when you don't have 2 people, you find ways of doing it. So they're just 10x16 tech screws. Just put one screw in that way it pivots nicely without bowing. You put one each side and it's on the piss. It's just going to want to bow that, and you have to pull one tech screw out to straighten it up. But like I said, with 2 people, it's a hell of a lot quicker. So you can jam 2 in that. Now it's all straight. You can even solder like this stuff holds a pretty straight line if there's nothing interfering with it. Ceiling joists are on this side anyway. Still need to do that side. But we're going to frame out this little section. I don't know what I'm going to do with it really. It might be a little cupboard or something there. It's a bit of a dead spot, and obviously you lose head height too. So we're going to frame out at the back and down this side, and then on this around the potbelly flue, I'm going to make up some Oregon window frames, and we're going to have glass around that corner, just so that stairwell doesn't turn into a dark hole. So we'll shoot up a little frame for the back, shoot up another frame for this pitch section here, get all that in, and we can measure up for some windows, and yeah, we'll have obviously a door at the top of the stairs. I just built the frame the wrong way, so we have to put some trimmers in. I don't want to waste the timber. No one will ever know, except for all you guys. Because it's going to be a completely sealed room, like gyprocked, insulated, door, I've got to put a door on it, funny enough. I'm really pushed for room, and I knew that right from the word go. I was trying to maximise the space up here, and it's not 100% to code. I'm not exactly sure what the law is, but you can't have a door right at the top of your stairs. You're meant to have a certain space away from the door, but who cares? It's my house. It's not a commercial building. We'll run with it anyway. Now, with the door obviously being right there on the top step, on the very top of the floor, I need to have, obviously the door's got to be able to swing open here, and it's getting real tight, obviously, because that isn't going to be finished product either. It'll either be gyprocked around that or some sort of cladding. So I need enough room there for the door to open, or else you're cutting out 200 mil of your door swing basically with that C-section there. That's not the only part that we're tight. The head height as well is relatively tight. It's just high enough to get basically a top plate through over top of the door frame. So it'll fit, it'll just be tight. Just about to knock it all together now. And then we've also got to think about this side here will be on the left of the stairs there. So we've also got to think about where we're going to put our power point, well, our light switch, and whether or not I have a ceiling fan in here or not. I will have an aircon, a split system that'll go in here as well, because even today, when it might be 25 or 26 degree day, when you're working up top there, screwing these purlin battens on, or ceiling joists, it gets kind of warm up top. Obviously heat rises, so the shed is insulated, walls and roof. I'm going to put more bats in between the ceiling and the current insulation, so it will be getting more insulation, but yeah, it'll get warm up here regardless. It's only 26 degrees today, so on a 40 degreer, should be a stinker. So yeah, we'll knock this up, we'll get it all plumb and sitting in there, and then we can cut that bottom plate out like we did with the windows, and we can fit a door frame in there. But yeah, it's coming together slowly. Door jamb, it's pretty well made up. The framework around here is done, other than the window frame. That's sitting in there, a bit of random trimming up the top, but yeah, that's pretty well the door opening. That will still leave us room when we put the actual door jamb in there to swing the door open between this post and the door jamb. Still going to make the frames up for the glass, but yeah, the actual timber frame is done. Now I've just made up a few of these blocks. Obviously, you build a shed to clad it on the outside, so everything is in the same plane outside. So if we were to fix our, they are both hard on the purlins there, or on the girts, sorry, of the shed. But if we were to put our purlins hard up that and screw that that rafter, you're going to have a step So I made these blocks out a bit of 70 by 35. Now that brings that rafter out, that 30, so it's a bit under 30, but 30 odd mil, which brings everything in line. So when we put our top hats, the same gear as that, a 22 mil top hat, that will all be nice and flat. So we've got to make blocks that go all the way up the top, all the way down that side. This is basically what I've done. Did a 90 by 70, 70 by 35, and then I've cut them on a 30-degree pitch to match the shed, or 30-degree angle rather, and then rebatted out just with the power plane, a couple of swipes, set the fence, and yeah, pre-drill a couple holes and just screw them on, and then I'll just use TimberTex to fix the top hat on. But yeah, I've got to go right the way across the wall there, and down that side, so a few blocks to make.